Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the second day of the third International Conference on Sustainability, Innovation, and Future Technologies. To start today's program, let us briefly look back at the highlights and achievements of Day 1. We officially kicked off the third International Conference on Sustainability, Innovation, and Future Technologies right here in Boracay with an amazing mix of researchers, academicians, and experts from all over the globe. Yesterday's sessions brought engaging paper presentations, lively discussions, and plenty of brilliant insights that gave our brain a serious workout. From quiet Q&A, so with that, I would like also to remind again everyone that registration is now open and that you are all requested to complete any necessary registration and certificate-related requirements before we begin today's program. Ladies and gentlemen, may I kindly request your attention as we begin day 2 of the ICSIFT 2026. To start today's program, let us briefly look back at the highlights and achievements of Day 1. We officially kicked off the third ICSIFT right here in Boracay with an amazing mix of researchers, academicians, and experts from all over the globe. From quick Q&A to connecting over the coffee, the energy and collaboration were off the charts. Yesterday's sessions brought engaging paper presentations, lively discussions, and plenty of brilliant insights that gave our brain a serious workout. So we set the high bar for the Day 1, but today's lineup is packed with even more keynotes and technical sessions. So sip that coffee, stretch out, and let's dive into Day 2. At this point, we now invite our conference co-chair, Dr. Sherha Balyaho Baybayan, to share her address. Please give her a warm welcome.
Sound check. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. My courtesy and respect to ZEP Research Director Mrs. Priyanka Saho, to Sulu State University President, Professor Charisma S. Tatalum Sese, to the President of Aklan State University, Dr. Jeffrey Clarin, to our esteemed research and innovation partners who are with us today on site and online, to Iloilo State University of Fisheries Science and Technology, Polytechnic University of the Philippines, Eastern Samar State University Can Avid Campus, and Sultan Kudarat State University. Distinguished guests, keynote speakers, fellow researchers, delegates, ladies and gentlemen, a pleasant good day. Yesterday, as I was listening to the research presentation in the different fields, I was so amazed. I told one of my colleagues that academicians are highly intellectual by how the papers were investigated and presented. For me, academicians are drivers of hope. Would you agree? Because we do not just do research. We do not just present and publish them. We also create possible solutions to existing problems and as well as preventing problems from occurring. Research is investigative and predictive. It serves as a tool for decision-making. Moreover, we transform our findings into community extension services too. Yes, we come together from different regions, different nations, different fields of expertise, yet we are bound by one shared purpose, which is to build a future that is not only advanced, but also inclusive, resilient, and sustainable. In addition, our shared work aims to contribute to global human capital and development across all fields. This conference invites us to look ahead, but also to look deeply and honestly. We begin by asking where sustainable development stands today. This conference stands first and foremost on the foundation of research and international linkages. It is not merely an event, but rather a meeting point for minds, a bridge connecting schools and institutions across the globe. Research knows no borders, and progress knows no boundaries. By forging these connections, we open doors to shared knowledge, joint inquiry, and mutual growth, understanding that we do not work in isolation, but walk together, learn together, and advance together. May we live here not just with new knowledge, but with renewed purpose. That is, to build a world that thrives on sustainability, advances through innovation, and embraces the future with hope and confidence. Mabuhay, everyone.
or business professionals. We are preparing future decision makers and leaders whose choices will influence organizations, communities, economies, and the environment. Therefore, we must teach our students to look beyond the traditional question of how can we become successful. We must also encourage them to ask, how can we become successful while creating positive and sustainable impact? This conference provides us with a valuable opportunity to explore these questions together, and perhaps the most valuable outcome of this gathering will not be a single presentation, research paper, or technological innovation. It may be a new partnership. It may be a connection between a researcher and an industry practitioner. It may be a collaboration between a university and a community. It may be an idea shared during discussion that eventually develops into a project, a policy, a business model, or a technology that creates meaningful change. This is why I encourage all of us to maximize this conference. Do not simply listen, engage. Do not simply take notes, reflect. Do not simply exchange contact information, build relationships or partnerships. And do not allow the ideas generated here to end when the conference concludes. Turn ideas into actions. Let us build bridges. Bridges between technology and nature, innovation and responsibility, research and practice, institutions and communities, and present needs and future possibilities. As we move forward toward an increasingly digital and technological-driven world, let us never lose sight of our humanity and our responsibility to the planet. Because technology gives us the tools. Innovation gives us possibilities. But values, responsibility, and environmental stewardship give those possibilities their direction and purpose. May this conference inspire us to become not only creators and users of technology, but also responsible stewards of the future. Let us envision a future where innovation that does not come at the expertise of our environment, the expense of our environment, where economic development benefits communities, where technology promotes inclusion, and where every breakthrough contributes to a healthier, safer, and more sustainable world. To all our participants, I encourage you to remain curious, collaborative, and courageous. Be curious enough to explore new ideas. Be collaborative enough to recognize that the challenges of sustainability cannot be solved by one person, one discipline, one institution, or one country. Do you agree? Do you agree? Yes. Okay. And be courageous enough to transform knowledge into meaningful action. Because ultimately, the true measure of innovation is not simply how advanced our technology becomes, but how much better we make the world through it. As we continue this conference, may we carry with us not only new knowledge and new perspectives, but also a renewed commitment to responsible innovation. Let us ask ourselves what we can do differently when we return to our classrooms, our offices, our organizations, our businesses, and our communities. What innovation can we introduce? What environmental challenge can we help address? What partnership can we build? And what lasting contribution can we make? If this conference can inspire even one new idea, one meaningful partnership, or one transformative action, then our gathering has already created value beyond the conference itself. Let us continue to learn. Let us continue to innovate. Let us continue to collaborate. And most importantly, let us continue to act. Because the future we want will not simply happen. We must design it. We must innovate for it, and we must take responsibility for it. Once again, I am Doreen de la Cruz La Chica, Dean of the College of Business and Management of Aklan State University, and I am honored to share this journey with all of you. May the remainder of this conference be filled with meaningful conversations, inspiring discoveries, productive collaborations, and ideas that will continue to create long-lasting impact after we leave this venue. Let us bridge technology with environmental stewardship. Let us connect innovation with responsibility, and together, let us turn today's ideas into sustainable solutions for tomorrow. Thank you very much, and I wish everyone another productive, inspiring, and meaningful session. Mabuhay tayong lahat, and let us innovate for a sustainable tomorrow. God bless everyone.
Thank you, Dr. La Chica, for the very relevant manifesto. True enough, the real opportunity lies in bringing together technology and stewardship as a means to strengthen communities and build resilience for future generations. To the next part of our program, we now invite our organizing secretary, Dr. Rania D. Abduraop, to share her address. Please welcome Dr. Rania Abduraop.
One university, one vision, one world. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. How far can a university go when it refuses to let geography define its future? Today, we have the answer. From Sulu, beyond boundaries, to our distinguished speakers, researchers, educators, university leaders, partners, and participants, it is my great honor to speak before you as the Director for Internationalization, Linkages, and Partnerships of Sulu State University, and as the organizing secretary of this conference. Our theme brings together three powerful ideas: sustainability, innovation, and future technologies. But behind these words is a question that concerns all of us. What kind of future are we creating, and who will benefit from it? For me, the answer begins with our students. Because a university is not simply a place where students earn degrees. A university is a place where dreams are given direction, ideas are given a voice, and possibilities become realities. Every student who enters our university carries a potential future. Our responsibility is not only to give them a knowledge, but to give them opportunities to use that knowledge, to research, innovate, collaborate, and make a difference. And that is where internationalization becomes meaningful. Internationalization is not about signing agreements. It is not simply about having international partnerships. It is about opening doors. Doors to knowledge, research, collaboration, and doors to opportunities. At Sulu State University, those doors are already opening. And today, we have proof. 4 of the paper presenters in this conference are our own students. And I believe we are the university with the most participants from Sulu State University. We are 16 in total, including our very own university president, Professor Charisma S. Ototalum. Imagine, we took a 12-hour ride from Sulu to Zamboanga City, followed by an almost 2-hour flight from Manila, a 3-hour layover, and finally, another flight of more than an hour to get here in Boracay. So yes, we really went the extra mile, literally, but we are here. And we are happy to be part of this wonderful event. It is just a manifestation that we from Sulu State University, most especially our students, are not waiting for the future to participate in the global community. We are already here. Our students are already here. They are presenting, researching, sharing their ideas, and making their voices heard. And that tells us something powerful. Great ideas have no geographical address. Talent is not exclusive to big cities. Innovation is not exclusive to famous universities. And opportunity should never be limited by where someone comes from. And as someone from Sulu, this message is deeply meaningful. We may be geographically distant from academic centers, but we are not disconnected. Through education, technology, research, and partnerships, distance becomes smaller. And today, here in Boracay, Sulu State University is part of a much bigger conversation. We are showing that a university can be deeply rooted in its community while reaching confidently toward the world. Rooted in Sulu, connected to the world. That is the university we are building. A university that values its identity while embracing new ideas. A university that empowers the students to think beyond boundaries. And a university that believes that where you come from should never determine how far you can go. This conference is also a reminder that no one builds the future alone. We need educators, researchers, students, technology, and we need partnerships. So during these 2 days, I invite you to do more than listen. Connect. Let's talk to someone we have never met. Share an idea, ask questions, because a simple conversation today may become a partnership tomorrow, or a research project tomorrow, rather. And a research project may become a partnership. And a partnership may create an opportunity that changes a student's life. That is when a conference becomes more than an event. It becomes a beginning. So let us not leave this conference with only certificates, photographs, presentations. Let us leave the ideas that move, partnerships that grow, and commitment that lead to action. Because the success of a university is not measured only by its rankings or recognition. It is measured by the lives it changes. If one idea becomes an innovation, this conference matters. If one conversation becomes a partnership, this conference matters. If one student discovers an opportunity, this conference matters. And if these 2 days inspire us to do better when we return home, then this conference has already succeeded. Do you agree? At Sulu State University, we may still be growing, but we are dreaming globally. We may be geographically distant, but we are intellectually connected. And we may not have all the answers, but we are willing to learn, collaborate, innovate, and build. Let us remember, we are not simply taking or talking about the future. We are shaping it. Let us connect beyond borders. Let us connect or innovate beyond limitations. Let us educate beyond expectations. And let us build beyond imagination. Because the future does not belong only to those who have the most resources. It belongs to those who have the vision to imagine it, the courage to pursue it, and the heart to build it for others. And from Sulu, we are ready to build. May these 2 days inspire ideas, create connections, strengthen partnerships, and turn possibilities into realities. And let us begin building the future together. Thank you and good morning.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rania, for reminding us that internationalization is about building bridge across borders to strengthen our universities, our communities, and the people we serve. And now we will proceed to our keynote addresses. Let me first introduce our first keynote speaker. She is the president of Solo State University and a prominent nurse educator, academic administrator, and public servant from Tausog community in Solo, Philippines. She has led the institution continuously since June 2018, serving as president of Solo State College before successfully steering its historic conversion into Solo State University under Republic Act number 12296 in 2025. Under her leadership, the institution achieved ISO 9001-2015 certification, attained Prime HRA Maturity Level 2, and expanded its academic programs in campus infrastructure. She holds a Doctor of Education degree from Solo State College and a Master in Development Management from the Asian Institute of Management as a Zudig Scholar. It is our great pleasure to welcome Professor Carisma Samparani Ututalom, the President of Solo State College, who will deliver the keynote address.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Are everyone okay? Have you strolled the seaside of Boracay? Not yet. Nauna pa ako. No, Boracay is a beautiful place. And I hope also to invite you to come to Sulu because we also have a beautiful place and beautiful seashore just like Boracay. So my warm greetings to ZAP Research, of course, headed by Director Priyanka and her team. From my partner, President Clarin, who is celebrating his birthday today. I thought he will be here, but I think he will be coming for a while. Oh, our birthday celebrant has just came. Dr. Jeffrey Clarin. Happy birthday, President. We wish you more blessings and more power for Aklan State University. And to all the participants who are present this morning, so I will be talking about the strategic role of university in the knowledge economy through Halal University framework. So this is the context of Sulu State University. Now when we speak about future-proofing human capital, we usually speak about technology, digital transformation, artificial intelligence, and even emerging skills. But there is another dimension that deserves our attention. This is what we call context. The context in Sulu is different. We are facing the current reality. We are still working to overcome the challenges, the weight of conflict and war that we have faced. At present, we are proud to inform you that Sulu is now Abu Sayyaf free. So we are free to roam everywhere in Sulu, 24 hours. I think, sino na po ang nakapunta sa Sulu? Okay. So dalawa pa lang. I hope pagbalik, marami na kayong pupunta doon. Sulu State University will warmly welcome all of you. Aside from that challenges that we are facing right now, we are also a region full of hopes and dreams. We are trying to rebuild a new chapter of our region with self-determination. So I am thinking, what if the cultural identity, the values and knowledge already present within our community could become the source of innovation and competitive advantage? Now, as we build the future-proof human capital, others, using the context of others, we might be building, yes, globally competitive professionals, but there will always be a disconnection, disconnected from who we are and where we came from. So today, I would like to share the Halal University framework, and through an institutional experience that began as a Sulu State College. We started Sulu State College in 1982, and this time we are now a Sulu State University. So future-proofing human capital does not mean that we will be building professionals from digital transformation, but we will be moving from using our context from who we are. You know, I will always be proud that I came from the province of Sulu. Now, what should the university prepare its people for? We are moving from yesterday, today, and tomorrow, from existing professions to changing professions, and then emerging profession, from stable knowledge to rapidly changing knowledge, to continuous learning, from job readiness, employability, to adaptive and innovative professions. Then technical competence, from today, multidisciplinary competence to knowledge creation. Now, the traditional mandate of university was largely built around preparing people for non-professions. So, pag nursing, we will build them to become nurses. Pag engineer, we build them to become engineers. But the knowledge economy has changed the context. We are now preparing our students for the environments where technology evolves, industry transform, and entirely new profession emerge. Therefore, future-proofing cannot mean predicting exactly what job will exist. It means developing people who have the capacity to learn, adapt, innovate, and create value under changing conditions. Now, from producing graduates to building human capital. This is the traditional orientation, and we are moving towards the future-oriented university. And this does not mean that traditional functions of the university are no longer important. Importante pa rin po ang traditional function natin. But rather, this time, we need to connect. We connect from instruction, we connect to research, from research, we connect to innovation. And then innovation should respond to the industry and community needs. Most of the time, when we do extensions and research, we should always ask, how should it address the community needs, right? That should be the first question that you have to raise in order to create an impact. And then the entire ecosystem should contribute to the development of human capital. Then the competitive advantage is the ability to convert knowledge into value. So we move knowledge to capability, innovation, application, and then there will be economic and social value. Now, in a knowledge economy, knowledge becomes valuable when it is translated to capability and eventually into impact. There are a lots of researchers here, right? We have to ask ang paper that we are producing. Does it improve the practice? Does it inform policy? Does it create enterprise? Does it improve livelihoods? Does it develop people? Or does it only adds up to our JC3? Relate much? Relate much. But it's okay. It's normal. We are just human beings that we wanted to add points to our JC3. But at least right now, let's think the other way around. We have to help our people. No one will help our people except us. We are educators, and we are on the prime line to do that. We are more powerful, more than the LGUs. All right? That is just to inspire you. Even if it's so hard, if it's challenging, nobody is taking a response to your call for action, but still never surrender. Continue to voice out because that is our way out. And this is where universities become a development institution. Sorry. Now, we are using the halal framework, right? So halal can be a strategic knowledge ecosystem. We wanted to work from compliance to standards and quality, consumption to productive and value chains, certification to science and verification, religious practice to ethics and integrity, market to industry ecosystem, and then single discipline to multidisciplinary knowledge. Now the question is, why halal? Right? I know that this has come to your mind. Why have we chosen halal to become the leading halal university? Because halal can no longer be understood only through the lens of consumption of food or certification. It intersects with food science, agriculture, healthcare, pharmaceuticals, tourism, supply chains, entrepreneurship, technology and standards, and global trade. For a university, therefore, halal can become a multidisciplinary knowledge ecosystem. The Sulu State University framework is our way, our own Tausug-rooted standard of integrity. Halal thus makes honor and excellence the same goal across everything we teach and we do. And this is the Halal University framework. This is the central proposition of our framework. Instead of treating culture and faith as a peripheral consideration, we position them as the potential sources of academic capital. Halal becomes embedded in instruction, research, entrepreneurship, and community extension. This is important because the objective is not simply to teach halal. The objective is to build an ecosystem where halal knowledge produces capable people, useful research, innovation, and community value. And we have three strategic movements that drive transformation: the global benchmarking, capacity building, and multi-stakeholder engagement. For the global benchmarking, actually, before we were converted to university, we went to Malaysia, and we did the benchmarking there for our halal center. So we started there, and then the beauty is that we have learned so much about halal governance, community integrated system, international standards, and all. And then after that, we have incorporated that to our local context, the Tausug culture. Now, one of the important principles in our experience is that internationalization does not mean copying another institution. Our benchmarking engagement with the University of Malaya allowed us to understand international standards and approaches to halal education, governance, certification, and industry academic interaction. And the next step was contextualization. Then we also have our capacity building. It's very important that people should always be trained. They should learn from the best practices of other institutions. Standards do not create change. Remember that. It is the people. The second lesson is that institutional transformation cannot happen without people. So I am happy na you are marami po tayo lahat dito. Marami kayo from different universities. Palakpakan po natin ang mga presidente ninyong sumuporta sa inyo. We therefore invested in capacity building, not only for our faculty, but also for our students. In fact, there are 4 students who are with us this activity, and local government units also. One example was the participation of our faculty in a short course in halal food standard compliance in the universities of Bakri in Jakarta. In fact, after we go back to Sulu, we will also be having our online orientation awareness with the INHEART, another institution in Malaysia, before we started tinkering with our halal center. The purpose is not simply for professional development. It was to build institutional capability that could eventually be transferred to communities and local enterprise. Now, the future-ready graduate is more than employable. So what should universities do and develop? Not merely graduates who are employable, hindi na po ngayon ang trend ganon. But we wanted graduates who are adaptable, innovative, ethical, entrepreneurial, research-capable, globally connected, and culturally grounded. The future graduate is not someone who simply knows how to perform today's tasks, but it is someone who can understand change, learn continuously, work across discipline, and innovate responsibly, and of course, remain culturally grounded. Now, what the Halal University framework teaches us, one is that culture can become knowledge, knowledge can become capability, and capability can become innovation. Then innovation can become economic with social value. This is how identity moves from being a heritage asset to becoming a strategic institutional asset. Then for my last slide, future-proofing capital is not about predicting the future. It is about developing people capable of creating it. The universal lesson, universities become future-ready when they learn how to turn their unique identity and knowledge into human capability, innovation, and impact. Maraming salamat po. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Thank you so much, Dr. Otatalom. We are grateful for the opportunity to learn and reflect from Sulu State University's achievement vision, and commitment to meaningful transformation. And now to present the memento to Dr. Ototalom, we would like to invite our conference chair and co-chairs, together with the representatives from ZEP Research, to join us in front. May we request everyone to give Dr. Tatalom a round of applause as we honor and express our sincere appreciation for sharing her valuable expertise and insights with us. Our conference chairs and co-chairs in front, please, and representatives from ZEP Research. Thank you and congratulations, President Charisma Samparani Ototalom. And now I am going to introduce to you our next keynote speaker. With almost 30 years of experience in the education sector, she is a multiple award-winning teacher, trainer, researcher, and consultant dedicated to driving growth, innovation, and collaboration. Her expertise in curriculum and instruction, combined with a solid foundation in area studies, empowers to bridge the gap between technology and education while promoting sustainable and inclusive learning practices. Motivated by a mission to create positive social change through education, she actively seeks new strategies to optimize learning outcomes and empower educators to make a meaningful impact in the communities. As a fully bilingual communicator in Spanish and English, she is able to engage with a wide range of stakeholders, from local communities to international partners. Please join me in warmly welcoming Professor Marina Velasca, the Program Coordinator and Global EdStar Country Director of the National Technological University.
integrating SDGs into curricular design, and 3, institutional sustainability frameworks. Our aim was to help faculty move from understanding global education to designing their own international SDG-focused core modules. And the result was a truly global, creative, and collaborative learning space. Now let's take a closer look at how we made this happen. First, participants were grouped into cross-national teams. For example, educators from Argentina working with colleagues in Peru or Spain, and they co-designed new coded modules linked to specific SDGs. They focused on SDG 4, quality education, SDG 10, reduce inequalities, and SDG 13, climate action, among others. We used a combination of digital tools, Zoom for live sessions, Google Drive for collaboration, Padlet for brainstorming, and Miro for visual design, among others. Each team received mentorship throughout the process, and the program ended with a public virtual showcase where projects were presented for feedback and visibility. The mentorship and visibility components were essential. They create a real sense of community and accountability across countries. One of the most exciting aspects of the program was how we integrated artificial intelligence, not as a gimmick, but as a true educational partner. AI was used to analyze project outputs through natural language processing. In case you're not familiar with the concept, natural language processing, or NLP, is a branch of artificial intelligence that enables computers to understand, interpret, and generate human language. Using machine learning, NLP analyzes text and speech for tasks such as content classification, sentiment analysis, and machine translation. Common applications include virtual assistants like Siri and Google Assistant, translation devices, and systems that filter out unwanted emails. In this case, I use Spark NLP, an open source and highly accessible tool. Then, using the Llama application, I created an interactive multilingual virtual gallery that made the projects globally accessible with automatic translation into English. This expanded the international reach of the projects, and the platform was also used to creatively and interactively present the projects, fostering collaboration and dissemination. Thanks to NLP, we could also automatically identify which SDGs were most represented in the participants' materials, which gave us deeper insight into their learning outcomes. Moreover, automatic translation features made it possible for participants to translate their projects from Spanish into English in real time. I will share the link to our AI-enhanced digital gallery at the end of the presentation. It's an interactive portfolio space where 16 different active art projects are fully accessible. And importantly, every AI activity included an ethical reflection. We discussed algorithmic bias, data privacy, and responsible use. The goal was always to model how to use AI critically and transparently in education. To understand the program's effectiveness, we used a mixed methods approach: surveys, reflections, and qualitative interviews. Quantitatively, participants showed a 5% growth in core SDG knowledge, and 92% reported increased confidence in working internationally. But the qualitative insights were even more powerful. One participant said, "This program transformed my professional identity and renewed my sense of teaching purpose through global collaboration." Many participants spoke about how the program reconnected them with the meaning of teaching through community, shared purpose, and ethical innovation. In short, it was not just a professional development course, it was a catalyst for transformation. Let me briefly highlight some of the projects that emerged. A team from Peru and Chile developed AI-generated infographics and TikTok campaigns to raise awareness about global climate challenges, showing how social media can support global citizenship. Another team worked on human rights storytelling using Canva and Animoto to create moving digital narratives about migration. And the third group focused on global inequality, producing data-rich policy briefs enhanced with AI-supported visualizations. What all these projects have in common is the fusion of intercultural competence and digital literacy, two essential 21st century skills. AI was not the central focus, rather it served as an enabling tool that supported and enhanced the learning process. From this experience, we drew several key insights. First, AI works best when it acts as a collaborative partner, not a replacement. It should enhance human creativity and professional inclusion, not automate it. Second, institutional support matters. Without strong backing, time, resources, and policy alignment, projects like this struggle to sustain momentum. Third, the ethical dimension cannot be ignored. We must keep reflecting on bias, data control, and fair access. Finally, AI holds democratic potential. It can democratize rural learning, but only when implemented intentionally with inclusion and ethics at the center. So what does this mean for the future of education? Programs like Code Cloud show that ethical AI integration is not only possible, it's replicable. It can transform how educators teach and how they see themselves as agents of global change. For students, it builds the skills they will need to address the world's most complex sustainability challenges: collaboration, empathy, and critical thinking. Moving forward, our priorities should be clear: foster ethical awareness, strengthen intercultural competence, and ensure equity-focused AI integration across all educational contexts. That's how we turn collaboration into true transformation. I'd like to end with a simple idea. Transformation is always collective. The future of education is not written by algorithms or policy alone. It's shaped by educators who are willing to connect, reflect, and act with purpose. Thank you all very much. Please feel free to scan the QR code to access our AI-powered virtual gallery. You're more than welcome to join any of our core projects. Thank you very much for your attention, and please feel free to contact me by email if you have any further questions.
Thank you very much, Professor Medina, for your insightful and inspiring address. And now, as a token of appreciation, we would like to present a memento to Dr. Falasca for sharing her valuable insights and expertise with us. Although joining us virtually, we hope that the memento serves as a lasting reminder of our gratitude. And thank you very much, and please accept our heartfelt appreciation, Dr. Falasca. We now arrive at also an important milestone in our conference, the Memorandum of Understanding signing ceremony for the four state universities. First, we call the representatives from Solo State University. This ceremony reflects the commitment of our institutions to strengthen academic cooperation, research collaboration, knowledge exchange, and future partnerships. Again, may we request the concerned representatives to kindly come forward for the signing ceremony. We also request our researchers and faculty from the Solo State University for the photo opportunity. And of course, our students also, our paper presenters. Next, we have representatives and officials from Polytechnic University of the Philippines. Faculty, researchers, officials, and representatives from the Polytechnic University of the Philippines. Come forward, please. And then next up are officials and representatives from Sultan Kudarat University. Again, we may call on the officials, researchers, faculty, and representatives from Sultan Kudarat State University. And next is representatives and officials from Kalinga State University. Again, congratulations to all our partner institutions. May these collaborations open the door to many more meaningful academic and research initiatives. And now, before we proceed to our technical sessions, let us take a special moment to greet our guest of honor, Dr. Clarine. A very happy birthday. May we invite everyone to join us as we sing happy birthday to our dear guest. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Dr. Garin, and may you be blessed with good health, happiness, and many more meaningful and successful years ahead. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we will now proceed to the tactical presentations of day 2. Are you all ready? As a reminder, each presenter will have 8 minutes in total. So you have 6 minutes per presentation and 2 minutes for questions and answers. The respective session chair and evaluator will guide each technical session and coordinate the presentation sequence. We kindly request all presenters to remain mindful of the allotted time so that we can maintain the day's schedule. For the technical session 5, our session chair is Dr. Malika Ilupa. So we are now in technical session 5, Sustainability and Environmental Sciences. This session brings together research covering sustainability, environmental management, health, agriculture, food, infrastructure, and related areas. We are now going to start. Our first presenter is Mr. Richard Dira. The first presenter is Ms. Grisha Sambarani on the paper Bridging Theory and Practice, a study on innovative teaching strategies and clinical competence of nursing students at Solo State College.
Thank you very much, Ma'am. Actually, happy na sana ako. Akala ko hindi na ako magpe-present.
Sorry.
Wait lang, i-practice ko na. Dito na lang ako muna. Okay. Kailangan ko mag-practice muna. Yan. Okay, good morning once again. Okay pa ba kayo? Are you still awake or do you need coffee? Starbucks in Station 1? Pwede ko kayong bilhan doon. Distinguished Chair, respected panel of experts, and of course, sa ating to our university presidents who are present here, President Ututalum, President Clarine, and President Torreña, who shares one commitment to advance research, sustainability, innovation, and future technologies for better tomorrow. My fellow researchers and participants, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. It is my privilege to present my study entitled Bridging Theory and Practice, How Innovative Teaching Shapes the future of nursing education. So before I begin, allow me to ask everyone a simple yet important question. What truly prepares a nursing student to save a life? Is it years of classroom lectures? Is it advanced technology? Or is it meaningful clinical experience that transforms knowledge into competent practice? Our research explored this question by examining how innovative teaching strategies influence the clinical competence of nursing students at Sulu State College. Now, the reality. Do you agree in this? Every patient deserves a competent nurse. Bakit gusto nyo ba yung multiple IV insertion? Ilang beses kayo insertan, ilang beses kayo i-prick? You want that kind of nurse? Or you want a kind of nurse like me? Beautiful, competent, 'di ba? Madali kayong ang tawag diyan, mag-recover. Right? So, where's my presentation? Okay. Theory alone is not enough, of course. This doesn't apply only in nursing, right? Kasi theory, when you study everything inside your head, memorize everything, it is useless when you will not practice it. Do you agree? Yes. Clinical competence saves lives. Education must bridge knowledge and practice. So how do we produce competent paano tayo magkakaroon ng competent nurse? How do we produce competent nurse? By producing a competent nursing graduate, of course. Every nursing graduate will eventually face a moment when a patient's health or even life depends on the decisions they make. In those critical moments, theoretical knowledge alone is not enough. Nurses must demonstrate sound clinical judgment, technical competence, effective communication, and compassionate care. This highlights the need for nursing education to bridge classroom learning with authentic clinical practice, which became the driving force behind this study. Now, although nursing students acquire strong theoretical foundations, many still experience difficulty applying what they have learned in real clinical environments. Because what they read in the book, it is not really in the reality, right? Like for example, the needles in the book is different from the actual setting or from the actual na pagtutusok ka na sa pasyente. Iba na siya. Iba. The feeling is different. Okay? This theory-practice gap has become one of the most persistent challenges in nursing education, particularly in resource-constrained institutions where clinical exposure and innovative teaching opportunities may be limited. Recognizing this challenge, our study investigated whether innovative teaching strategies could better prepare nursing students for professional practice. Now, research objectives. Specifically, my study pursued four objectives. First, I evaluated the innovative teaching strategies implemented in the nursing program. Second, I measured the level of students' clinical competence. Third, I determined whether significant difference existed between innovative teaching strategies and clinical competence. And finally, I examined whether meaningful relationships existed between these teaching strategies and student clinical competence. Now, what is the key findings of my research? Overall, the results were encouraging. Students generally agreed that these four innovative teaching strategies were being implemented in the nursing program. At the same time, students demonstrated high levels of clinical competence, particularly in technical skills, clinical judgment, and interpersonal skills. This tells us that the students perceive their learning environment as supportive of developing the competencies they will eventually need as professional nurses. So for my recommendations, based on these findings, I recommend strengthening opportunities for experiential learning, particularly through expanded clinical placements and simulation-based education. Student-centered learning should also be enhanced. Should I continue? Okay, time na. Thank you.
Thank you so much, the ever beautiful nurse.
Thank you.
Pagka ganyan po kaganda, baka makalabas po kami kaagad sa kwarto at makapagbayad pa agad sa billing.
Thank you.
Yes, or kung pasyente na iba, baka magstay longer, magsakit-sakitan. Thank you so much for that insightful research because that actually tackles the experiential learning of our students. Given the fact that nurses have several things to balance, meron silang RLE, pupunta sila ng hospital, and then they would review the following days, and then theory. So my question, Ms. Samparani, would be, well, students rated there, I've seen that their clinical competence showed as high competence across all domains. What specific recommendations does this study make to further enhance nursing education and clinical skill at Sulu State University? Or if we can adapt it to all other SUCs who offers Bachelor of Science in Nursing. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Okay, I think the study recommends targeted improvements in technological integration, stronger clinical participants, expanded student-centered learning activities, and more diversified assessment. That would be all. Thank you.
Congratulations. That would be all.
Thank you, Dr. Samparani. Before we move on to our next paper presenter, we will first proceed with a MOU signing with Sultan Kudarat University. May we request the concerned officials and representatives to please remain at the front for the signing ceremony. Officials, representatives, and faculty, researchers from the Sultan Kudarat University. And again, congratulations to all our partner institutions. May this collaboration open the door to many more meaningful academic and research initiatives. Congratulations, Sultan Kudarat State University. Without further ado, our next presenter for Technical Session 1 for Day 2 is Murmina Salim for the paper titled Formulation and Comparative Evaluation of a Biodegradable Plant-Based Hand Sanitizer Using Aloe Vera with Garlic and Malunggay Extracts.
Imagine for a moment a parent in a community where a single bottle of hand sanitizers cost more than a daily wages. Ladies and gentlemen, that is not a hypothetical scenario. That is the daily reality for millions of people around the world. Good morning. I am Murmina Bahijan Salim from the Mindanao State University Sulu College of Health Sciences. I'm 22 and I'm a registered nurse as well. My research focused more on innovative community-based health products using locally available natural resources. My undergraduate research is the prevalence of lanusug mixed with bangkit as a topical medicine for wound healing among the residents of Tulay, Holo, Sulu. Now, when we think of hand hygiene, most of us picture a bottle of alcohol-based sanitizer. Quick, effective, and readily available. Yet, for countless communities, that bottle remains expensive, difficult to obtain, or entirely absent when it is needed the most. This brings me to the central question of my study. What happens when a community must rely on what nature already provides? Could a plant, trusted, used for generations, hold the same power to keep hands clean and safe? That is the question we set out to answer. We have to consider that hand hygiene is one of the most powerful tools we have to prevent infections. It reduces the spread of diseases, protects the vulnerable, and saves lives. Alcohol-based sanitizers are the gold standards, we all know that. And they work, but depend on the supply chain. They depend on productions, on transport, and on money. In communities like Sulu, with limited resources, those dependents become buyers. A bottle that costs a day wages is not a practical solution. A product that disappears from shelves during a crisis is not a reliable one. This is where our research, or my research, comes in. We ask whether a locally grown plant, one already trusted in traditional knowledge, could be formulated into hand sanitizer that is safe, affordable, and effective. So we built a 6 formulation. Using 2 gel bases, aloe vera and distilled water, and each combining them with garlic and malunggay. We tested them against Staphylococcus aureus and Escherichia coli, which is the most common causes of infections. Using a standardized yeast diffusion and minimum inhibitory concentration, we compared every side or every formulation side by side with a 70% ethyl alcohol. Here is what we found. First, the plant extracts generally work, both garlic and malunggay, significantly improve antibacterial activity compared with the base gel alone. And the most accurate treated sample showed no visible mold growth across the 5-day observation period. In the zone of inhibition test, we also conducted a zone of inhibition test. Yan, MIC. Where the water and malunggay combination reached 14.0 millimeters against Staphylococcus aureus, close to the 14 millimeter at the alcohol control. I want to be honest with you here. None of our formulations produce a larger zone of inhibitions than the 70% ethyl alcohol, which remain the most effective against both bacteria. Alcohol is still the gold standard, and we are not claiming that otherwise. But this is where our formulation wins. When we tested the dermal safety of the dramatic differences, the aloe vera base made the dramatic differences. Garlic and water base scored 4.40 in our irritation scale, but in the aloe vera, it drops to 1.0. Malunggay dropped from 3.0 to 0.80, which is the aloe vera formulation were the only ones that reach proper gel consistency, which is suitable for the hand sanitizer, and all stayed within the acceptable pH range. The overall function or formulations, which solid antibacterial activity, the best skin tolerance among the extract containing groups, proper gel consistency, which is very good for the modest edge against the Escherichia coli. Now, I want to be clear on what we are claiming and what we are not. This study is not intended to replace the alcohol-based hand sanitizer, but to provide another practical option for communities with limited resources. It is to highlight how local knowledge and scientific research can work together to create solutions that benefit the public. My last point is for too long. We have treated national or traditional knowledge
Let's
and modern
move to
science.
Q&A, ma'am.
And that's beyond our lab. Thank you very much. I am Marmina Bahajin Salim from Mindanao State University.
Thank you so much, Ma'am Mormina Salim. I would just like to take note, were you able to mask off the scent of the aloe vera gel, the malunggay? I understand malunggay mapait talaga siya and somehow amoy grass talaga siya. But I think the most component na may pungent odor is the garlic. Even the aloe vera, pag tinanggal yung balat, I understand wala siyang amoy. So, were you able to mask off the scent of the garlic during your...
Yes, compared to the malunggay, the garlic has more very yung smell. But because of the formulation of the aloe vera and the garlic, the amoy ng garlic is naglalasan siya. That's why it has a good dermal safety on the skin of the person. But compared to malunggay, the malunggay has the highest point in the dermal safety po.
Okay, thank you. Just a follow-up question. Given that you used also a factorial design, I've seen here 2x3 factorial design for your methods, which specific combination of garlic, aloe vera, and malunggay ratios optimize the antimicrobial? Although you were very clear that you are not trying to replace the benefits of using alcohol. Pero maganda kasi ito, dun sa mga rural areas, you can actually, conduct extension services for that and educate people that kung walang panggastos, walang pambili ng alcohol, pwede nyo tong gawin in a natural way. Those are my questions. Again, which specific combination of garlic, aloe vera, and malunggay ratios optimize the antimicrobial minimum inhibitory concentration without, negatively triggering dermal irritation? Kasi, di ba, when you conduct tests like this, you have to test sa mga iba't ibang skin types. Thank you.
Well, based on the results that I have gathered is that when it comes to antibacterial against Staphylococcus and Escherichia coli is that the highest ranks among all the 2 by 3 factorial design is that the garlic mixed with aloe vera. But considering the dermal safety, the malunggay with aloe vera ranks the highest po, considering the dermal safety. But not considering it, it's on the aloe vera mixed with garlic. Yan lang po. Thank you.
Thank you and congratulations, Ms. Salim.
Our next paper presenter is the paper titled Adaptive Infrastructure Management of Angat Dam, Assessing Water Supply Reliability in Urbanized Metropolitan Manila Amid Climate Extremes. To be presented by Ms. Maria Teresa V. Villacorta. She will present it virtually.
Good day, distinguished patrons and visitors, fellow researchers. I am Maria Teresa Villacorta from MWSS and the Polytechnic University of Philippines. Together with my co-author, I am pleased to present our study, Adaptive Infrastructure Management at the Angat Dam, Evaluating Water Supply Reliability amid Urbanization and Climate Extremes in Metropolitan Manila. This study examines whether the Angat Reservoir system remains dependable according to its water demands and traffic-related variability. More importantly, it asks not how often the system performs satisfactorily, but also how quickly it recovers and how resilient it is. To establish that context, let me briefly introduce my professional background. I am a licensed civil engineer and a technology and design researcher at MWSS. For more than 20 decades of professional experience in infrastructure planning, construction management, cost engineering, and project development. My current research focuses on water supply reliability. My professional background shaped the study applied and this orientation. With that background, I will explain the central water security challenge addressed by this study. Metropolitan Manila relies heavily on Angat-Ipoh-Lamesa system for its water supply. This concentration creates a major planning concern because reservoir storage can decline while urban demand rises, climate variability increases, and operating flexibility remain. This study therefore examines the 84 average monthly observation covering from January 2019 to December 2025. A reservoir elevation of 180 meters was applied as the primary analytical stress threshold, meant with elevation of more than 180 were classified as satisfactory, while month below were classified as failure or stress months for the purpose of RRD analysis. To make this assessment transparent and repeatable, the study followed the four stages screening framework. The first stage involved compiling of the operational records, focusing on monthly reservoir elevations and billed water demand to examine changes over time. The second stage classified months as satisfactory when at least 180 meters or failure below the threshold. The third stage calculated three RRD indicators: reliability, the proportion of satisfactory months, resilience, failure of events followed by recovery, and the vulnerability means elevation, deficit during failure months. The fourth stage tested the sensitivity of results to analytical choice by examining alternative threshold, that is 175, 180, The observability pattern shows why an integrated assessment of elevation and demand is necessary. This figure compares the multiverse of the elevation profile from 2019 to 2025. The red dashed line represents the 180 meters analytical threshold. The pattern demonstrates a recurring seasonal decline. Elevation generally fall during the day, dry, and early months. Across the study period. Despite some year-to-year variation, the overlapping between seasonal storage decline and sustained urban
What
growth
happened?
reduces the system's operating margin. The planning season is therefore the timing of stress. A reservoir may perform satisfactorily for sections of the year, but the combination of low seasonal elevation and high demand can create concentrated period of peaks. The ROV indicators qualify this pattern and reveal the difference between satisfactory frequency and recovery capacity, being reliability is high but recovery remains limited. Using 180 threshold, 74 of 84 observations were satisfactory, yielding 88.10. The remaining, however, during then months of failure, only 4 returns they are satisfactory. Following the months, resulting in a resilient value of 40. The cumulated deficit during the failure months was 58 centimeters, giving the mean vulnerability of 5.86, below the
Thank you so much, Engineer Teresa
Thank you
Villacorta.
so much.
Can you hear me po? Am
Yes
I
po, I can hear
audible
you. Yes, madam.
for your Q&A?
Yes, madam. Am I audible?
Engineer Teresa, can you hear us for
Yes, I can
your
hear you,
question and
ma'am.
answer?
I can hear you, ma'am, but I think you can hear me.
Let's now move to the next presenter, Ms. Luwila P. Dadivas of Capiz State University for the paper entitled Sensory Evaluation and Consumer Acceptability of a Functional Herbal Drink Enriched with Natural Ingredients. Hello.
Distinguished delegates, fellow researchers, and honored guests, Let me begin with a simple question. What if the next breakthrough in functional beverages is not something we need to create entirely from the laboratory, but something we can discover right here in the resources that surround us, from our local farms to our rich marine ecosystems? Today, I am proud to present our research titled Sensory Evaluation and Consumer Acceptability of a Functional Herbal Drink Enriched with Natural Ingredients. Mabuhay and good day, everyone. I am Luella Dadivas, a professional food technologist of Cape State University, presenting on behalf of my co-authors, Dr. Janet Ledesma and Dr. Stephanie Pimentel, to share how we bridge traditional ingredients with modern food technology. The researchers want to address in this study is from the growing demand for healthier beverage alternatives that offer both unique sensory experiences and functional benefits. Given the popularity of herbal drinks for their medicinal properties, this research aims to create a product that stands out in the market due to its concentrated form and the inclusion of herbal extract and seaweed extract. This study aimed to evaluate a herbal blend using ginger extract, seaweed extract, and other herbs like ginger, turmeric, lemongrass, and calamansi. The specific objectives including determining the MPF or the most preferred formulation, analyzing sensory characteristics like the color, odor, taste, and consistency, measuring physicochemical properties like the pH and total soluble solids or TSS, and identifying the consumer acceptability level of the most preferred formulation. A single factor experimental design was employed utilizing a completely randomized design or CRD with 30 semi-trained panelists in determining the sensory characteristics of the most preferred formulation and 100 panelists for consumers' acceptability. Sensory evaluation was conducted using 9 hedonic scale and data analysis including descriptive statistics and analysis of variance and Fredman's test. Results showed that treatment B, which consisted of 96% ginger, turmeric, lemongrass, and calamansi extract, and 4% Glacilaria seaweed extract, was the most preferred formulation. Okay, for the product description, the developed functional herbal drink is a natural, a refreshing drink that can be enjoyed either hot or cold, that combines a vibrant yellow color with a balanced ginger lemongrass aroma, a mildly sweet and spicy taste, and a moderately thin syrup consistency. The beverage has an acidic pH of 3.11 to naturally inhibit microbial spoilage for shelf stability, alongside a total soluble solid level of 34.86 Brix to enhance flavor, viscosity, and mouthfeel. The beverage delivers superior physicochemical quality. The results of the consumer acceptability showed that the beverage was highly acceptable. And then, the functional drink demonstrates strong market potential as a high-quality and shelf-stable product. In closing, our finding shows that a beverage can be both healthy and safe while still being enjoyable to drink. By combining 96% natural herbal extract with 4% seaweed extract, the researchers developed a beverage that is stable, unique in taste and sensory qualities, and highly accepted by consumers, whether served hot or refreshingly cold. And then here are my appendices. And then, on behalf of Dr. Janet Ledesma, Dr. Stephanie Pimentel, and Capiz State University, thank you very much for your time and attention.
I was trying to check on the pH and also the total soluble solids of 34.86. So I would just like to verify those components were ginger, lemongrass,
Yes, ma'am.
and stevia sugar. You indicated
Yes,
stevia sugar.
the sugar that I put is stevia, ma'am.
Have you tried using a more raw sugar like muscovado or brown sugar?
No, ma'am.
May know why? Kasi baka yung iba hindi kaya yung stevia if they would want to formulate, and this is a good indication that you can actually extend it in the community.
Yes, ma'am.
And the availability of stevia sugar, mostly yung sa mga urban areas ang nakakaalam.
Yeah, okay. So maybe later for the recommendation, I will consider your suggestion, ma'am.
Now for the question, which specific sensory attributes, such as the taste, aroma, or mouthfeel, had the strongest influence on the overall consumer acceptability for your herbal drink? I've seen there that it has a strong component for commercialization. So may I know from what sensory attributes had the strongest influence? Bakit gusto ng mga
Yung taste po,
pinataste?
ma'am, the taste because it has a unique flavor, a little bit spicy and sweet.
Okay, thank you. No further questions. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
and congratulations.
Let's move on to our next paper presenter, Sikai Jane Zepanta, for the paper titled Psychological Well-Being, Organizational Commitment and Intention to Stay Among Staff Nurses.
So, good morning everyone, or in our dialogue, mayong buntag sa atong tanan. So, once again, I am Psyche Jane H. Zapanta, also a registered nurse, and my advisor is Miss Gloria M. Conanan, and I am the 12%. So, once again, I am Psyche Jane H. Zapanta, and I am an alumni of Central Mindanao University in Maramag, Bukidnon, and I am currently taking my Masters of Arts in Nursing at Liceo de Cagayan University, and my research interest includes nursing retention, psychological well-being, organizational commitment, and healthcare workforce sustainability. Okay, so nurse retention remains a global challenge, particularly in a public hospital, facing workforce shortage, while psychological well-being and organizational commitment are recognized factors. And there is a limited studies on these topics. So to address this, my study utilized a descriptive correlational design, including 118 staff nurses, selected through total enumeration. Standardized questionnaires with 3 parts were used, and data were analyzed via descriptive statistics, person correlation, and multiple regression. Now for the background, nurses constantly face intense emotional and coping workload demands. So psychological well-being helps them cope, maintain satisfaction, and find meaning in their service. Consequently, organizational commitment reflects their loyalty and alignment with the institution. Because of the high turnover, it disrupts the patient's care and increases operational costs. Retention is a vital hospital management concern. So this study aligns with the 3 UN SDGs. SDG 3, good health and well-being by ensuring continuous patient care. It also supports SDG 8, decent work and economic growth by promoting employment to support to reduce turnover costs, and SDG 16 by strengthening public healthcare institutions. So for the research gap, there are 3 main gaps. First is prior study often examine well-being and commitment separately. Second, limited frameworks look at their combined influence on retention. Lastly is most existing literature focuses on urban hospitals, and my study bridges these gaps by focusing directly on the unique challenges of a rural public health hospital. So I have 5 research objectives. First is the psychological well-being dimensions, and these are the subtopics. Second is the organizational commitment factors, the level of intention to stay, relationship analysis, and predictive modeling by identifying key predictors of retention. Moving on. So for the key findings, result revealed high level across all variables. First, psychological well-being scored high mean of 3.79, with environmental mastery scoring highest and personal growth the lowest. So organizational commitment was also high at 3.80, driven heavily by enthusiasm to work hard. Third is the intention to stay yielded high mean of 3.91, showing general desire to remain, though minor sub-scores indicate that turnover is still exists. So for correlational person correlation showed positive relations on autonomy, emotional, environmental mastery, goal acceptance, and enthusiasm to work hard were all significantly related to the intention to stay, and interestingly, personal growth showed no significant relationship. While in the multiple regression analysis, enthusiasm to work hard emerged as the sole significant predictor of intention to stay, and this revealed that highly motivated enthusiastic nurses are most likely to remain in the institution. So implication to the conference, sustainability as that retaining nurses stabilizes the workforce, and innovation as it highlights the need for tailored wellness program. And for my conclusion, staff nurses exhibit high well-being, strong commitment, and solid retention to stay. So protecting this enthusiasm is the key to workforce stability. And in conclusion, the global message of my research is clear. Protecting the well-being of our nurses is not an option, it is a necessity. By strengthening our commitment to those who care for us. So thank you for your time, everyone.
Thank you, Ms. Psyche Jane Zapanta. Just a quick question. So, based on the strong link to psychological well-being, what specific low-cost mental health support systems would you recommend to hospital administrators to prioritize immediately? Because the records show that most of the nurses actually leave the country for a greener pasture abroad. For one, I have 2 sisters working abroad. So we really need to make sure that our nurses' well-being is the utmost priority. What can you suggest, or what specific low-cost mental health support systems would you recommend to hospital administrators to prioritize immediately based from your study?
Thank you for that question, ma'am. So based on my recommendation, I have recommended the nursing service department and provincial health management to use to be encouraged to participate in professional development activities, wellness programs such as Zumba. Since it is a low cost, you can just Zumba every morning or before their duties. And also another low cost would be to have for them to continue their annual summer vacation for uh, for the nurses to do away from their work. So that would be all. Thank you.
Thank you so much and congratulations. No further questions.
Just a reminder to our online presenters, those who are currently online and ready to present, may present by yourselves using your PowerPoint presentation. Please present live to make the presentation smoother and more interactive. Thank you. Next presenter is Ms. Rinalyn Aglanao, who will present online for the paper entitled Prospects and Challenges on the Implementation of Green Building in the Tarlac Construction Industry.
Hello, ma'am. Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. I will share my PowerPoint presentation po.
Yes, ma'am. You can start already. Mom, your time has already started. You only have 6 minutes.
Is my presentation visible, ma'am?
No, mom. Please screen share, ma'am, your presentation.
My screen is already sharing po, ma'am. Is it visible?
Not really, ma'am.
How about that, ma'am?
Ma'am, it's already visible for now.
Um, Good day, everyone. My name is Rinalyn Mejia N. Magdanao from the Polytechnic University of the Philippines, Santa Mesa, Manila. And I am presenting to you the prospects and challenges on the implementation of green building in the Tarlac construction industry. For the introduction, sustainable development aims to meet present needs without compromising future generations. This study begins by recognizing that sustainable development has become a global priority as emphasized by the United Nations and scholars like Dali in 1990. Sustainability is about meeting today's needs while protecting the ability of future generations to thrive. The construction industry, both globally and locally, is at the center of this challenge because it is one of the largest contributors to pollution, greenhouse gas emissions, and resource consumptions. Green building has been introduced as a solution that integrates an environmental responsibility with traditional construction priorities. In the Philippines, The Green Building Program advances this agenda by requiring government institutions to adopt eco-friendly procurement and building practices. Private companies like Ayala Land, Megawide, and DMCI have also made progress. However, it is in the province of Tarlac, green construction practices remain limited, inconsistent, and often dependent on individual firms rather than coordinated sector-wide efforts. This gap highlights the need to examine both the potential and the challenges of implementing green building in the area. This study highlights the importance of green building practices. For the environmental impact, green building practices reduces pollution and conserve natural resources. For the quality of life, green building enhance comfort and promote well-being indoors. Features such as a natural lighting, improved ventilation, and indoor plants create healthier living and work environments. These can lead to reduced stress, better mental health, and increased productivity for occupants. For its economic benefits, sustainable building practices can lower energy and water costs through efficient measures. They also increase property value as green buildings are increasingly desirable for both residential and commercial purposes. Overall, green building practices provide a holistic approach that benefits the environment and its people and the economy, making them a crucial consideration in modern architecture and urban planning. For the rationale of this study is important because Tarlac's construction industry continues to expand, bringing with it increasing environment and economic implications. While green building offers many benefits such as lower operational costs, healthier indoor environments, and reduced environmental impact, its adoption in Tarlac is still minimal. This research is anchored on sustainable development theory, which guide us in evaluating how construction activities can support long-term ecological balance. By exploring both opportunities and barriers, I aim to develop a practical plan of action that aligns Starlac's construction practices with national policies and the UN Sustainable Development Goals. For the research methodology, I used a quantitative descriptive research design because I wanted to objectively measure the prospects and challenges in implementing green building in the Tarlac construction industry. Quantitative research allowed me to work with the numerical data and follow the structured,
Nina pa?
systematic approach. Yes po. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Hello?
We'll move, ma'am, to the Q&A.
Okay, thank you.
Good morning, Engineer Rhinoline Aglano. Am I audible po? And can you hear us here from the on-site?
Yes, ma'am, you are edible.
Yes. Hindi po kasi namin nakita yung slides. We were just seeing the main page. It was only the title. What are the main economic and regulatory barriers based from what you've mentioned? It was a quantitative and descriptive method that prevents construction firms in Tarlac from adopting green building practices.
In this study, ma'am, it presents green building prospects and challenges or the barriers. For the green building prospects, here are the degree I considered. For the building prospects, for the health gains, satisfaction in doing what is right, boost in creativity, social gains, professional development, opportunities for employers, less work for employees. For cost benefits, environmental benefits, and here are the green building challenges. The builders or developers' preference for conventional methods, lack of technical know-how, the lack of green building awareness, consumer preferences barriers, expensive equipment and products, economic barriers, management preferences barriers, extra clearances and approvals, and many more barriers like social barriers, cultural barriers, and environment legislation or policy barriers.
Yes, thank you. And I am thinking of giving another question. So, what specific local government incentives or subsidies do you think Tarlac contractors would actually believe that would offset those initial barriers you mentioned? I believe even economic barriers to green building.
Thank you, ma'am, for the question. This study recommends that the construction professionals to commit to continuous learning and green practices while agencies like the PWH or the Department of Public Works and Highways and the PICE or the Philippine Institute of Civil Engineers promote sustainability and consumer support and environmentally responsible construction. Future research should explore green building practices in other regions to broaden understanding and their societal and environmental benefits.
So, thank you so much, Engineer. No further questions.
Congratulations,
Thank you, ma'am.
Engineer Aguinaldo. So the next presenter would be Ms. Leia Kamangeg for the paper entitled Infestation Rate and Intensity of Amiblioma javanense in Manis coliensis.
Statistical resource allocation showed a very weak and non-significant relationship with patient satisfaction, with a Spearman zero of 0.042 and a p-value of 0.398. Nursing staff services, 0.398.
Okay. It's
Nursing
working.
staff services also
Good morning,
showed a very
everyone.
weak.
All right. I'm Leia M. Kamangig, and I'm here to present infestation rate and intensity of amblyoma javanense
Good
in
afternoon,
Manis
everyone.
coliensis.
My name is Archer.
My
I'm
co-authors
from
are the
the
following: Dr. Paul John Hiraldino, Abrila Langbao, from University of San Carlos, Cebu City, and from Palawan State University, Abrila and I. Okay, the total pangolin across the world is 8. And there are 4 which can be seen in Africa. So we have colleague here which are from Africa, right? 4 African pangolins, the largest pangolin in the world, and there are 4 Asian
third patient
pangolin
indicator
which can be
satisfaction was
found
also
in
high
Malaysia,
with a mean of
India,
4.0.
China, and
4.0.
Philippines. We're particularly in the
So
Philippines, in Palawan region.
the
This is known
picture
as
was
Manis
very positive.
coliensis, Philippine pangolin, locally known as
Patients
Palawan
generally
pangolin or
perceived
balito.
that resources were available
When
and
it comes
functional.
to study,
They
there are a
also
few study
viewed
about M. coliensis
nurses as
ectoparasite, its
sufficiently
infestation rate,
available,
intensity, and
clinically
prevalence.
competent and
Pangolins
capable
are
of.
vital to Palawan ecosystem. Why? Because its primary diet, they fed on ants and termites. They are critically endangered, endemic
To
mammal,
the
and the
certain
only
degree, the
mammal
picture
with
was very
scales.
positive.
They are a major vector for
Patients
many
generally perceived that
hemoparasites.
hospital
Thus,
resources
this
were
study
available
aimed
and
to identify
functional.
the
They also
taxonomy of
viewed
pangolin
nurses as
steep using
sufficiently available,
microscopy,
clinically
determine the
competent, and
infestation
capable
rates
of
and mean
providing
intensity,
dependable
and
care.
relate the tick
Most
flow to
importantly,
pangolin
patients
sex and life
reported
stages
high
or life stage
satisfaction with the
patterns.
quality of
This is
care
very
they
important since
received.
Palawan, the
They
Palawan Council
received.
for
At
Sustainable
this point,
Development, they have a 25 roadmap for the conservation and management of
at
Palawan
this point, we
pangolin.
might naturally
It
expect that
also deals with
that
SDG
better
goals.
that
good
better
health and
ratings for
life
resources and nursing
and
services
well-being,
would
particularly on
correspond to higher
animals and
levels
life on land.
or overall
Veterinary
satisfaction.
care and conservation, and a baseline for
Significant is
pathogen
that we
transmission and
have the
disease
available data already
surveillance.
for the
Very simple
rural
when it comes to
infirmaries,
methodology,
wherein
purposive
these
and
settings are
opportunistic,
less
since pangolin is
highlighted.
IUCN declared a critically endangered mammal.
In
For
these
its
settings are less
computation, the descriptive
research.
statistics, which uses infestation rate, infestation frequency, and
And
the
also,
significant
the
difference in
significance
infestation
was
level between groups such as
viewing that
sex and life stages. Should I continue? All right. Okay. For the methodology, as I continue, very simple when it comes to materials. We just need a forceps, a 80% alcohol, ethanol, and of course, Eppendorf, and the species itself, the Palawan pangolin. So collection from ground survey and turned over, either dead or alive. Then uses optical imaging such as camera and microscope. So the collection started from August 2022 until December 2024. So a 2-year study. Why? Because pangolins are very elusive. You cannot get them. They are very, you can only get them when it is night because they are nocturnal mammals. Okay, these are the results for taxonomy and description. For Palawan pangolin, it is confirmed that they have Amblyoma jovenensi, which is from arthropoda and arachnids. So the authentication were done in the University of Los Baños, Laguna campus. University of the Philippines, rather, Los Baños campus. Okay, for the overall ectoparasite, the 13 pangolins were used and 268 ticks were collected. All were infested with different loads and 100 infestation rate and prevalence. The ectoparasite index and intensity were the same. And for the group level of ectoparasite indices, the male has a heavy tick loads, or the burden of loads comprises the male, and when it comes to infestation rate, it's also 100. Ectoparasite index and pin intensity are also equal. For the relationship of sex and life stages, each box plot displays the distribution of collected ticks per individual. Block diamonds indicate group means. Adult males exhibited the heaviest tick burdens, while females and juveniles carried comparatively lesser ticks. And no significant difference in tick counts between sexes and life stages. All right, confirmation of ticks. This is a hard tick, not a soft tick, which is present in the population of Palawan pangolin. And this is known as A. javanense. 13 pangolins were infested. This is known as ectoparasite, and not significant to relate the tick loads to sexes and life stages. Continued study for ectoparasite, particularly for wildlife monitoring, and further studies needed to correlate the host-specific physiological
Let's move
data.
to Q&A, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Ms. Leia Kamangag. You mentioned that the IUCN status of our pangolins are critically endangered, right?
Yes.
And how many pangolins have you recorded here in the Philippines?
For the 2 years of study, we've collected at least 13 pangolins. These are from turned over, and 3 were from ground survey studies.
Okay, thank you. And the study was focused on the infestation rate of those ticks on our pangolins.
Yes, precisely, as well as the prevalence, how many ticks are present in the individuals of pangolins.
Okay. So over the course of your 2-year descriptive study, did you observe any significant seasonal or spatial fluctuations in the infestation rates and the mean intensity, and also do microclimate factors like rainfall, temperature, or habitat fragmentation correlate with the periods of, pag dumadami yung ticks sa pangolins natin?
Still inconclusive because when it comes to climate, as we related, the climate, particularly kapag mahaba yung dry season, pangolin kasi they bath. When they bath, they remove the ticks. So literally, still a gap on that study. But when it comes to turned over, a lot of pangolin were turned over during the dry season because we are reliant on the turned over activities from Palawan Council for Sustainable Development. So we get the number of pangolins from there, and then we collected the ticks. So still, the data is not yet conclusive because we only have 13 samples for about 2 years. And that is a small sample, not conclusive to related on spatial and to related on climate.
Thank you so much. One last question. Considering that our Palawan pangolin is critically endangered, I'm more concerned about the management of those ticks. And do we have certain researchers or people who have advocacy on preserving pangolins?
Yes, we have. That is why I mentioned a while ago the Palawan Council for Sustainable Development. We developed since 2018, we developed the Palawan Pangolin Conservation Management Roadmap, which is 25 years, and we have the so-called Palawan Pangolin Conservation Management Committee, subcommittee, which is under PCSD. So from the academe, non-government organization, the DNR, we work together to safeguard Palawan pangolin. And not only that, because of this research, we also come up on establishing Palawan Pangolin Research Center by 2028.
Thank you so much, and congratulations.
Our next presenter is Ms. Monalyn Oloroso for the paper entitled Thermal Performance and the Drying Evaluation of a CFD-Optimized Biomass-Fired Fish Dryer for Various Fish Products.
The esteemed organizers of the ZEP research, institutional leaders, and participants to this conference, a pleasant day. I'll be sharing with you our study entitled Thermal Performance and Drying Evaluation of a CFD-Optimized Biomass-Fired Fish Dryer for Various Fish Products. This study, next slide please. Sorry. This study is primarily authored by yours truly. I am presently a student of Doctor in Engineering Management at the Polytechnic University of the Philippines Open University System and is professionally associated with Capi State University. The study is co-authored by Dr. Gino L. Andres, a professor as well from the Polytechnic University of the Philippines. Fish is an important feedstuff. However, this commodity is highly perishable, hence the need for immediate processing. One of the most common fish processing in the Philippines is fish drying. And traditionally, fish drying is performed through sun drying, such as the ones shown in the photo. While there are available fish dryers, such as cabinet and tray type dryers, these dryers are challenged by high cost of electricity or petroleum products, as well as uneven drying of products across the drying trays. Hence, most often, it requires tray rotations during drying operations. Hence, in this study, we applied the CFD or Computational Fluid Dynamics optimization approach to optimize the airflow and temperature distribution, followed by experimental validation for a multi-layer fish dryer that is powered by biomass or rice hull. Our results showed that the CFD optimized dryer demonstrated promising performance in drying various fish products. Generally, this study was conducted to integrate a CFD-based airflow optimization with experimental validation in a biomass-fired multi-layer fish dryer. The fish dryer is a batch-type dryer with 64 stainless steel trays Its drying air is delivered by a centrifugal fan of 370 watts power with airflow capacity of 92.8 cubic meters per minute. Again, it is powered by rice hull as its heat source. In this study, we integrated baffles and exhaust vents to improve the drying uniformity inside the drying chamber. The dryer was then tested experimentally for anchovies, scad, mullet, and boneless anchovies fish. First, we conducted CFD optimization, or the computational fluid dynamics. We tested 3 different configurations to find out the best configuration that could deliver a more uniform and even drying inside the chamber. Configuration A do not have baffles and exhaust vents. Configuration B with baffles but without exhaust vents. And configuration C with baffles and exhaust vents. Results showed that the best optimum uniform velocity inside the dryer is within configuration C with baffles and with exhaust vents, with a mean air velocity of 1.373 meters per second, and which is applicable to any fish products according to the Philippine national standards. In terms of temperature uniformity, the most uniform temperature distribution inside the dryer was also found in configuration C. Hence, after the optimization using computational fluid dynamics, we integrated the configuration C into the actual fish dryer and tested it using different or 4 types of fish, such as the anchovies, boneless anchovies, round scad, and mullet. The highest heating system efficiency was found to be 75.17%, with the lowest heating system efficiency of around 67%. This heating system efficiency is within the requirement of the Philippine Agricultural Engineering Standards of 50% heating system efficiency. In terms of CFD predicted temperature of 82.12 degrees Celsius, the actual or experiment showed that temperature inside the dryer is around 78 degrees Celsius. That gives us around 4.05% mean absolute percent error as compared to the computational fluid dynamics. In terms of dryer performance, the dryer can be used to up to 123.4 kilograms of fish with the highest drying rate of 18.4 kilograms per hour and the heating system efficiency of around 75%. In terms of airflow, our CFD prediction was 1.373 meters per second, while the actual dryer showed around 1.25 meters per second of airflow. Again, within the Philippine National Standards requirement for air velocity in drying fish. That gives around mean absolute percent error of around 4.17%. So these results showed that optimization through computational fluid dynamics can actually be used in modeling or in predicting the best design integration in a fish dryer such as this one. In conclusion, we found that baffles and exhaust vents are actually important improvements in the uniformity and even drying of fish inside a cabinet or tray-type dryers. CFD predictions were supported by experimental validation, and the dryer processed different types of fish with good drying rate and heat system efficiency based on standards. So here are just additional supporting data. It was found that water activity and moisture content of the different types of fish tested in the dryer is within the requirement of the PNS. That is all. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Monalyn. This is actually a great innovation because for Aklan, this is also a coastal area, and we've seen danggit and dried fishes here, and also from our province in Sulu. Now, how well did the actual drying efficiency and thermal performance of your prototype match the predictions made by your CFD simulations?
So we recorded around 4% mean absolute percentage error between the predicted and the actual experiment. This may account to the differences Because in the prediction, we only predicted the amount of heat energy that a rice hull fuel could have. But on the actual, it may actually change based on the sources of the rice hull and also some losses along the actual dryer. And based on the previous literature, the 4% mean absolute error is also within a good, still a good error from the predicted.
Thank you. And you mentioned that you used rice hull as your biomass fuel, which is
Yes.
sustainable. Thank you so much and congratulations. No
Thank
further
you.
questions.
The next presenter is Ms. Edna Lin Ngo for the paper entitled Comparative Assessment of Perceived Flood Resilience Dimensions in a Public School in the Rizal Province. Ma'am Edna Lin will present virtually.
Hello, good morning. Am I audible?
Ma'am, if you are on board, you may share screen your PowerPoint and please present.
Yes. Am I audible? Am I, ano? Hello, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So I will be now presenting my study. The title of my study is Comparative Assessment of Perceived Flood Resilience Dimensions in a Public School in Rizal Province. So my name is Engineer Edna Lingo, and this research was conducted with the guidance of my advisor, Engineer Joselinda M. Colpeo. So this study focuses
Ma'am,
on
excuse me, we
understand.
cannot see your slide,
Yes.
ma'am.
Ay, okay, sorry. Mhm. Screen. Okay, sorry. Do you see my screen now?
Not yet, ma'am.
Oh, very good. Sorry. Hindi siya lumalabas.
We can see the title slide, ma'am. You can start.
Sorry. Okay. Start. Yeah. Do you see now?
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry. So, focuses on understanding how flood risk is perceived in a public school setting and identifying areas that can be strengthened to support safer and more resilient educational environment. So before I proceed, I'm again Engineer Edna Lingo. I am a licensed civil engineer and currently I am an engineer 4 at the DPW and also a part-time faculty in the College of Engineering of New Era University. I completed my Master of Science in Construction Management at the Polytechnic University of the Philippines. So flooding remains one of the most frequent natural hazard affecting educational institutions in the Philippines. It can disrupt school operations, damage infrastructures, and threaten the safety of the students and personnel. So it assesses three dimensions of perceived flood resilience: structural resilience, functional continuity, and preparedness and management. So this study involves 107 high school students and used descriptive and statistical analysis to compare the three dimensions. So the results showed a general satisfactory level of perceived flood resilience with preparedness and management being the highest rating and functional continuity receiving the lowest. So the findings serve as the basis for recommendation matrix and proposed flood action plan. So the Philippines is a highly vulnerable to natural disasters, particularly flooding, geographical location, and topography. Flood events do not only damage physical infrastructure, they also disrupt activities, damage school infrastructure, displace communities, and threaten the safety safety of the student. So public schools are also have an important role as temporary evacuation centers during disasters. Therefore, ensuring school resilience is important not only for educational or for education, but also for community preparedness and recovery. So the main purpose of this study perceive flood resilience by National High School in Rizal Province. Specifically, the three dimensions: resilience, functional continuity, and preparedness and management. The study used a quantitative, descriptive, comparative design involving 107 high school student respondents. Out of this research was a flood resilience action plan designed to address and the identified areas for improvement. So the major findings, the result shows that overall perceived flood resilience of the school was satisfactory. Among the three dimensions, preparedness and management obtained the highest median rating of 3.43. Structural resilience is the second with rating, and functionality obtained the lowest median rating of 86. So this, while preparedness and management were perceived positively, maintaining education operations during and after flood events remains an area that requires greater. So, comparative analysis, statistical results using the Friedman. So, here are the comparative. We compare the SR or the structural resilience versus the FC or the functional continuity, and functional continuity with preparedness and management, and structural resilience versus the preparedness and management. So this find first, the PM emerged as the strongest dimensions, and SR ranked second, and finally the functional continuity
Ma'am, your
received the
time is
lowest
up.
rating.
And
Yes.
we will
Thank
now
you very much
proceed
for
to the
listening.
question and answer.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much, Engineer Adnaline Ngo, for your presentation. Just a
Yes.
quick question. What specific communication or training initiatives could the school administration that you identify on your study deploy to effectively close the gaps you identified in actual community preparedness? Especially, it shows here that functional continuity got the lowest mean.
Yes. Actually, ma'am, I don't not yet deploy some, but I propose here a flood resilience action plan to determine what will be the next step for the gaps, identified in the study.
Okay, thank you so much. No further questions.
Thank you.
Our next presenter, who will also present virtually, is Ms. Shali Pamela Ambor for the paper entitled Predictors of Condom Use Among Senior High School Students, a Behavioral Model Analysis. Ma'am, if you're now ready, please share your presentation.
Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, for a while. Can everyone see my presentation?
Not yet, ma'am.
How about
Yes, ma'am.
how about that? Wait for a while, ma'am. This one.
No, mom.
Can you see it?
Yes, no, mom.
You're
It's
just
just the, yeah, now, mom. You can present.
You can see it
Yes,
already?
mom. Yes.
Okay. So I will now start.
Okay.
Sexual health Sexual health remains an important public health concern, particularly among adolescents and young people. Despite the availability of condoms and increasing awareness about their roles in preventing sexual transmitted infection, including HIV and unintended pregnancy, awareness does not always translate into consistent condom use. This raises an important question especially for us healthcare workers. What are the factors actually influence in an adolescent's mind to decide to use a condom? Good morning, everyone. It is my great privilege to present to you my research entitled Predictors of Condom Use, Intention Use Among Senior High School Student, a Behavioral Model Analysis. To begin with, I would like to introduce myself. I am Shali Pamela C. Ambor, a registered nurse here in the Philippines, as well as a postgraduate student from Liceo de Cagayan University, and a public health worker under the Department of Health, CHDNM, and currently works in the community, particularly in Naawan, Misamis Oriental. I am also the assistant coordinator for the Adolescent Health and Development Program in the municipality where I am currently assigned. Perception, attitudes, and social environment. These three play significant role in shaping our adolescents' sexual behavior. Guided by the HBM and TBP, or the theory of planned behavior, this study evaluates the predictors of condom use intention among our senior high school in Naawan, Misamis Oriental. The research used a descriptive correlational and causal research design and were able to obtain 164 respondents by using a validated Likert type questionnaire. The descriptive analysis showed that the students' perception of risk from unsafe sexual practices was high, attitudes towards condom use were generally positive, and the influences from peers and teachers were constructive in the senior high school's decision about sexual health. Moreover, the correlational analysis results shows that there was a significant correlation between the perceived risk, attitudes, and social influence of condom use intention. For multiple regression analysis, it shows perceived benefit of condom use, peer influence, and moral and cultural belief were significantly related to intention use. Among those predictors, the strongest were perceived benefit and peer influence. This finding underscores the importance of peer-led intervention as well as teacher-led sexual health education. As I made mention earlier, the teenage sexual health has remained one of the major points of public health concern. Even though the country has already enacted the reproductive health law, still adolescents in the Philippines face significant institutional and cultural challenges in the reproductive and sexual health aspect. This study is highly significant in increasing public health concerns, especially the rising sexually transmitted infection rates in our country, and of course, the youth vulnerability. This also addressed the cultural and social dynamics. And last but not the least, and I think one of the most important, is for policy implication and educational strategies for enhancing school programs. In conclusion, in conclusion, um, or in summary, the study highlights a significant perception of risk optimistic network of condom use positive attitudes, and constructive peer and teacher influence. The three most significant predictors of condom use intention were perceived benefit, peer influence, and moral and cultural. Overall, these three predictors tell us something important. Condom use intention is not influenced by knowledge alone. Thus, an effective intervention should address three dimensions: the individual, the social environment, and the cultural context. This study implies an importance of a peer-led intervention utilizing a peer network that would amplify positive health messages and norms effectively, such as a teacher-led sexual health education, and integrate a comprehensive sex health in a school curricula, particularly among the senior high school students in the country.
Ma'am, we will now
Further
move on to
recommendation,
the
develop
closing
a culturally
address.
relevant values-driven curricula that would impact within the Philippine health context. So to end my discussion, I would like to ask everybody, why are we failing our adolescents? So we are under the impression that our adolescents are a homogeneous group and implements programs that take little account of the specific needs of our younger and older adolescents. So I would like to end my discussion. Thank you all for listening.
Thank you, Ms. Shali Pamela, on your presentation. So, given that peer influence was highlighted in your findings, how significantly did descriptive peer norms correlate with the students' actual intention?
Um, Thank you for your question, ma'am. So, uh, when I say first, let me identify the peers, no. During sa study ko po kasi, I evaluated when I say peers, student or their friends, the school, or the teacher's influence. So when it comes to their peers, like for example, their friends or their group circle of friends, um, it is very highly relevant. They take consideration kasi kung ano yung sinasabi ng kanilang kaibigan. If for example, yung kaibigan niya sinasabi niya na, are you sexually active? If that person says yes, so do you use any protection or do you not use any protection? If the person is actually hindi pa niya alam, so mas maganda po kasi if sa school we have this peer group institution wherein they can what do you call this, parang kaya nilang ibigyan ng information yung mga estudyante, specifically if sexually active yung mga yung isang student. So in that case, kaya po natin siyang kaya po nating masolusyonan na hindi po dumating sa punto na mabuntis po yung bata or magkaroon po ng mga sexually transmitted infection. So peer peer-led uh, peer-led council sa isang institution is in fact very useful. And as of now, we are doing it already in our municipality po, or in our LGU. This type of intervention,
Thank you and
ma'am.
congratulations, Ms. Ambor.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, the next presenter is Mr. Angelito B. Nainay for the paper Feathering Sustainability, Innovating Biodegradable Packaging from Zampin Native Chicken Feeders.
Good morning, everyone. Here with me are my co-author, Dr. Arnahal Kunting and Ms. Maria Lynn Torres. Our research titled Feathering Sustainability, Innovating Biodegradable Packaging from Sampen Native Chicken. Sampen or Zamboanga Peninsula native chicken is a valuable local poultry resource known for its high protein content and cultural significance. Feathers, a byproduct poultry processing, are often underutilized and pose environmental challenges when discarded. Chicken feathers are rich in keratin and a natural protein known for its strength, durability, and biodegradability. Hence, this study explores converting Sampen native chicken feathers into biodegradable packaging, supporting waste reduction and sustainability. For our objective, we developed biodegradable packaging boxes from Sampen native chicken feathers and assesses the mechanical and physical properties of the packaging materials. Okay. Development of biodegradable packaging from Sampen native chicken feathers. Number one is raw material collection, feather processing. So feathers should cleaned and boiled, then dried and ground and convert it to fibers. Next is material preparation. The feathers, fibers mixed with natural binder and formulated into pulp. Then next is molding and drying. Pulp molded in box shapes and then let it dry to strengthen. For finishing, surface treatment, natural coating, and let it air dry. For final products, so this is the biodegradable packaging shows. Okay, so our product was evaluated through tensile strength. Can it withstand load? Through durability, does it maintain integrity? Through flexibility, does it bend easily? Through water resistant, keeps contents safe from moisture. And lastly is biodegradation, does it break down naturally? Hence, that the product evaluated through its strong and durable, or it is moisture resistance, or it is eco-friendly alternative to conventional paper boxes. So this is the actual or the real product, a picture of our product development. Okay. So our product runs various tests. For the drop test, so we approximately drop 100 meters in height. So the result shows slight dent, but no structure damage. For the tensile test, so it evaluates strength under the stimulated loading. So the result is slight dents after 1 hour, but the structure remains intact. And for water absorption, determine ability to resist moisture during stage transport. So it shows initial, the box floated, then after 1 hour, it started absorbing water, and then after 24 hours, more water absorbed. Hence, absorb water over time, moisture resistance, hence needs improvement. And then lastly, biodegradation test evaluates description, decomposition when buried in soil from day 0 to day 15 to day 30 to day 35. Result shows decomposition in the soil, hence this eco-friendly and sustainable alternative for plastic packaging.
Thank you and congratulations, sir.
Thank you so much, Sir Angelito Noynay. So on the mechanical strength and barrier properties, given that keratin yung nakita ko kanina, will actually help you package this biodegradable from the Zampen feathers. So how does the tensile strength, gaano po kabigat yung nakita ko kanina was 5?
5 kilos.
And water resistance and moisture vapor permeability of your final model molded package compared to the standard single-use expanded styrofoam or paper packaging?
With the use of our formulation of a 70 to 20 and a 10 formulation, we firmly assess that this is equal to the other type of packaging when it comes to durability and sustainability.
Thank you. And a follow-up question. Based on the binder formulation and surface treatment use, kasi diba, nilalagyan nyo ng natural coating for treatment. Is this material best suited for, and are there limitations regarding direct contact with liquids? Nakita ko kanina, there was a picture of yung binabad nyo siya sa tubig, and during the decomposition, 45 days.
Yes.
So what specific products is this material best suited for? Ano yung mas maganda siyang gamitin sa, pwede ba yung pagtaguan ng ulam, ng...
Actually, this is on our second study, no, whether this product of us is fit to storage food or fit to storage metal whatsoever matter.
Thank you so much, sir. No further questions. Congratulations.
Now our next presenter is Ms. Abrila M. Langbao for the paper Detection Rates and Spatial Occurrence of the Palawan pangolin across selected sites in Palawan, Philippines.
A pleasant noon to each and every one of us. Again, a pleasant afternoon to each and every one of us. Maybe you're wondering how many pangolins still present in the wild. So I'm here today to present to you the study entitled Detection Rates and Spatial Occurrence of the Palawan Pangolin Manis colunensis across selected sites in Palawan, Philippines. With me is Professor Leia M. Kamangig and Dr. Paul L. Heraldino. So this study was conducted to assess Palawan pangolin Manis colonensis detection and spatial occurrence across 6 survey areas using 7,627 camera trap nights. And based on the study, detection rates were lowest in Napsan, Mauyong Lukbuan, in Aramaywan, Quezon, and New Agutaya in Dumaran Island. Highest. Dumaran Island and New Agutaya showed particularly high detection, suggesting their importance as conservation strongholds for species, and these findings provide regional baseline and highlight the need for habitat protection, long-term monitoring, and targeted conservation actions. As mentioned by my colleague a while ago, Palawan pangolin or Philippine pangolin is only found in the Philippines, particularly in the region of Palawan. This is the only mammal with scales and are naturally elusive, cryptic, nocturnal, and semi-arboreal. Palawan pangolin is only found in Palawan Island, and last 2016, camera trap study started in the province. This study was conducted to assess detection rates and spatial occurrence of Palawan pangolin. That's why I mentioned a while ago how many pangolin are still in the wild nowadays. As shown here in the figure, the topographic map of the Palawan province, wherein 6 sites were being assessed. From Dumaran Island Critical Habitat in New Agutaya, San Vicente in northern Palawan, Mauyong Lukbuan and Napsan in Puerto Princesa, Aramaywan, Quezon, and Culasian, Rizal in the southern part of Palawan. 30 cameras were being installed and with metal casing for protection, phyton cable and strap. And to be able to be utilized, we need to load 6 pieces of AA lithium battery and SD cards by using GPS to track the coordinates and showing you during the installation. As I have mentioned a while ago, 30 camera traps were being installed on each site and was being installed for 45 days to gather wildlife present in the area and by using Wild ID to process whatever wildlife captured using the camera. Based on this table, Dumaran Island Critical Habitat showed with 1.34% detection rate with 1.4422 trap nights along with the other. And as you can see here on the table 1, Dumaran Island in northern part of Palawan has the highest detection rate. And as you can see, Culasian, Rizal has no detection. It doesn't mean that there is no pangolin in the area. It does mean, or it only shows that probably during the installation or during the time, the wildlife was not being able to capture. Also, for table 2, the camera station occurrence of Palawan pangolin or the Manis colonensis across selected sites, study sites in Palawan, Philippines. You can see here that positive stations has 11 positive stations. It shows that 11 camera traps captured pangolin, followed by New Agutaya and the rest of the study site. So showing you here in the figure the actual photo of capture of pangolin using camera traps. In conclusion, spatial variation, Palawan pangolin showed substantial differences in camera traps detection across study sites. Highest and lowest detections were in Dumaran Island Critical Habitat, has the highest occurrence and detection rate, followed by New Agutaya, while Culasian had no record detections. So overall, pangolins were detected at 22 of 179 camera stations, giving an observed occurrence of 12.3%. So showing you the acknowledgement, we are very thankful for the DOST, EAST, HRDP for the support, financial support of this study, of course, to the Catala Foundation Incorporated for the training provided to our team, and of course, the province of Palawan who supported the study. Also, this study was being conducted prior to the release of gratuitous permit from Palawan Council for Sustainable Development, and of course, the IACO clearance from University of San Carlos. Again, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Abrila Langbao. For just a quick question, can this special data can be used to accurately predict undiscovered or highly suitable pangolin habitats in other regions of Palawan?
Yes, ma'am, it could be. Could
And
be used.
what key spatial or environmental features correlated most strongly with the high detection rates of Palawan pangolins in the surveyed sites?
Based on the study, the distance from ant and termite mound gave the high correlation because based on the study, Palawan pangolin or pangolins generally on their diet, they require ants and termites. So based on the study, distance around 3 meters to 5 meters distance from ant and termite, so it gives a positive correlation that pangolin would be captured in the area.
Thank you. And how long does it usually take to release gratuitous permits from DNR?
For Palawan province, in our case, the Palawan Council for Sustainable Development staff issued the gratuitous permit, while compared to other areas in the Philippines, DNR do the releasing of GP. Based on our experience, around 7 days to 14 days.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you so much and congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Our next presenter is Ms. Golden Grace Argamaro, who will present online for the paper Taxation and Sustainability in the Philippine Coffee Sector, Evidence from Smallholder Farmers.
For a while po.
You can start, ma'am.
Wait lang po, I'll just fix my screen.
All right.
Am I audible po?
Yes, ma'am, and your PowerPoint is already visible. You may start, ma'am.
Okay. So good afternoon, everyone. Magandang araw po sa ating lahat. I am pleased to present our study entitled Taxation and Sustainability in the Philippine Coffee Sector, Evidence from Smallholder Farmers. Before proceeding, allow me to briefly introduce the researchers. My co-author, Attorney Christian Eligius Jimenez, is a certified public accountant, lawyer, licensed professional teacher, and bank examiner at the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas. I am Golden Grace Gamaru, a licensed professional teacher and a graduate of social science education from PNU Manila, and I am currently pursuing my master's degree in women and development at UP Diliman. Our different academic background allowed us to approach this topic not simply as a taxation issue, but also as a question of development, sustainability, and the conditions experienced by communities. To understand the problem, we first need to look at the Philippine coffee industry. Coffee remains an important agricultural commodity in the Philippines. It provides income for smallholder farmers and contributes to rural employment and local economic activity. However, despite having suitable coffee producing areas including the Cordillera Administrative Region, Calabarzon, and parts of Mindanao, Philippine production remains insufficient to meet domestic demand. And this is because our country continues to rely significantly on imported coffee. For this study, we focus on Cordillera Administrative Region or CAR, which is particularly known for high-quality Arabica coffee. But behind that quality are significant structural challenges. Previous studies have identified aging coffee trees, limited access to modern technologies, inadequate post-harvest facilities, limited access to credit, and weak participation in value-added activities. And these conditions already affect farmers' capacity to improve productivity and income. Our study adds another dimension to this discussion. We ask, how does taxation affect the ability of smallholder farmers to pursue sustainable coffee farming? To answer this question, we used a qualitative, policy-oriented explanatory case study. We examined government reports, policy documents, industry roadmaps, peer-reviewed literature, and regional studies on coffee farmers and supply chain. Our analysis was guided by the FISAP Action Hybrid Framework of Alonso Martinez and colleagues in 2024, which explains sustainability adoption through internal and external drivers. And in our study, we examined taxation as an external driver, influencing farmers' capacity to adopt sustainable practices. Finally, we use thematic and policy analysis to examine the relationship among taxation, sustainability adoption, and coffee value chain participation. Our analysis identified five major findings. First, taxation can increase the cost of sustainable coffee farming. Higher costs associated with agricultural inputs, services, and equipment can limit farmers' capacity to invest in agroforestry, replanting, and post-harvest improvements. Second, taxation can intensify the sustainability income trade-off. Smallholder farmers with limited land and capital may have to prioritize, of course, their immediate household and income needs over investment that provide longer-term sustainability benefits. Third, taxation can constrain value-added activities such as processing, roasting, packaging, and branding. This can keep producers concentrated in raw bean production with lower bargaining power and fewer opportunities for income growth, as this is reflected in the work of Velasco and colleagues and Consignado and Dimaculangan. Fourth, rural enterprises can experience a disproportionate tax compliance burden, particularly because of limited access to professional tax services and complex reporting requirements. Finally, we identified policy fragmentation. Agricultural programs may promote sustainability, while taxation policies can unintentionally offset some of these gains. Taken together, our findings suggest that sustainability is not simply a matter of whether farmers are willing to adopt better practices. Their capacity to do so is also shaped by the fiscal and institutional environment surrounding them. So, what does this study ultimately tell us? Our study recognizes that taxation is essential for revenue generation and national development. However, our findings also show that taxation can create significant financial and administrative burdens for smallholder coffee farmers pursuing sustainable practices. These burdens can increase production costs, limit investment in sustainability, constrain value-added activities, and intensify the trade-off between immediate income needs and long-term sustainability. And this, of course, becomes particularly important in the Cordillera Administrative Region, where farmers already operate within geographic and structural
Thank you and
constraints.
congratulations, Ms.
Thank
Gamaro.
you.
We're going to proceed to the Q&A.
Hi, Miss Golden Race. For the question, how are current taxation policies directly affecting the financial sustainability and margins of profit margins of small holder coffee farmers from our brothers in Cordillera?
Well, our current policies can affect farmers' profit margins by influencing their productions and compliance costs. in our study, yung taxation, it can increase costs associated with inputs, equipment, services, and administrative compliance. For smallholder farmers who already operate with limited capital, higher cost means less income available for reinvestment and sustainable practices. This is important because profitability in coffee farming can already be narrow or even negative. For example, PSA data for 2021 showed an average coffee production of 94.67 pesos per kilogram against a farm grade price of 81.41 pesos, resulting in a net loss after all costs. So our argument is not that taxation alone determines profitability. Rather, taxation is one of several structural factors that can further affect already constrained farm margins.
Thank you. And one last question. Did your research uncover any specific financial coping strategies for our coffee farmers?
Excuse me po, can you repeat the question?
Did your research uncover any specific financial coping strategies that have impact on our smallholder farmers that they are currently utilizing to navigate the burden of the taxation policies?
Actually, we were not able to uncover that, but maybe we can push that no in furthering our study po.
Thank you so much, Ms. Golden Grace. No further questions. Thank you.
Thank you din po.
We now move to the last, but certainly not the least presenter for session 5, Ms. Andrea H. Basa, for the paper entitled Halal Lifestyle Adoption, or HLA, and Consumers' Well-Being in Holo, the Moderating Rule of Social Hygiene.
Assalamu alaikum and good day, everyone. Let me begin first with a question. Imagine two individuals living the same halal lifestyle. One follows it out of personal conviction, while the other one follows it because of social expectation. Would they experience the same well-being? I am Andrana H. Basa, a fourth-year nursing student from Sulu State University, and I am honored to present our research entitled Halal Lifestyle Adoption and Consumers' Well-Being in Holo, the Moderating Role of Social Influence. When people hear the word halal, they often associate only with food. However, halal is much more than a dietary practice. It is a comprehensive lifestyle rooted in Islamic principles that influence ethical decision-making, health, spirituality, and everyday behavior. Despite the growing global interest in halal lifestyle, limited empirical evidence exists regarding how halal lifestyle adoption affects consumers' well-being within the local community, Muslim community, and in Hala Sulu. Thus, this study examined the relationship between the halal lifestyle adoption and consumers' well-being and investigated the moderating role of social influence. With this context in mind, let us look on what we investigated. So first, halal lifestyle adoption, which was examined through food and finance, cosmetic and clothing, and daily practices. Second, we examined consumers' well-being encompassing psychological, physical, social, and spiritual well-being. And finally, we examine the social influence, particularly the dimension of compliance and identification. And also, most importantly, we examine whether the halal lifestyle adoption is associated with consumers' well-being and whether the social influence changes the relationship of these. For methodology, the study employed the quantitative, descriptive, correlational, and cross-sectional research design. The study was conducted in 5 selected barangays in Holo Sulu with 200 consumers, and we used the purposive sampling. And also for our research instrument, we used a structured questionnaire adapted from related literature. For the data analysis, we use the mean and standard deviation to determine the level of halal lifestyle adoption, social influence, and consumers' well-being. We use the Spearman-Rank correlation to determine the relationship between halal lifestyle adoption and consumers' well-being. And lastly, we use the median split method to divide respondents into low and high social influence group to examine the moderating role of social influence. With the methodology established, let us now look the key findings of this study. Halal lifestyle adoption obtained a mean of 4.64, indicating a very high level of adoption. This suggests that respondents consistently integrate halal principles into their daily lives. The social influence recorded a mean of 4.48, also interpreted as very high, indicating that family, peers, and community values plays an important role in shaping behavior. For consumers' well-being, achieve a mean of 4.62, reflecting a very high level of well-being across psychological, social, physical, and spiritual dimension. So overall, these findings indicate that halal lifestyle adoption, social influence, and consumers' well-being are highly evident among the respondents in Holo. So for the finding number 4, the result revealed a significant moderate positive relationship between halal lifestyle adoption and consumers' well-being with an overall correlation coefficient of 0.499. This indicates that respondents who reported greater adherence to halal lifestyle practices also tended to report higher level of well-being. So these findings indicate that halal is more than a dietary practice. It is a holistic lifestyle rooted with improved overall well-being. And then for the finding number 5, the moderating role of social influence. After establishing that halal lifestyle adoption is positively associated with consumers' well-being, we examine whether the social influence changes this relationship. The finding revealed an interesting pattern. Among respondents with low social influence, the relationship was stronger, while among with high social influence, it was weaker. Therefore, social influence moderate the relationship between halal lifestyle adoption and consumers' well-being. And then the study concludes that halal lifestyle adoption in Holo is deeply integrated into consumers' cultural, religious, and ethical lives. Ultimately, when values became a way of life, well-being became a way of living.
Thank you. I only have one question and congratulations. So why was the relationship weaker under high social influence?
So the relationship is weaker under the high social influence is because that the practices is mainly driven by external expectation. It may be the consumer's well-being may be less meaningful, personally meaningful than practices based on personal conviction.
Thank you. That would be all for my question. Congratulations.
Thank you very much to all our presenters for the first session and to everyone for your active participation. At this point, we invite our session chair and evaluator for the technical session 2 for the business management and education economics, Dr. Karen Razel M. Duyan, the Associate Professor 5 of Kalinga State University. And for the first paper presenter for the Session 2 for Day 2, Ms. Jeanette V. Ledesma, for the paper entitled Development of Composite Cakes from Taro and Lesser Young Flowers, Assessment of Flower Characteristics, Product Quality, and Economic Feasibility. You may present now, Ma'am Ledesma.
Sorry. Good morning and mabuhay. To our STEM panel and fellow researchers, it's my honor to present our study entitled Development of Composite Cakes from Taro and Lycerium Flour. So, assessment of flour characteristic, product quality, and economic feasibility. Before I start, I would like to introduce myself. I'm Dr. Janet Ledesma from Capiz State University, and my co-author, Ms. Joyna Pabilona. The Philippines baking sectors relies heavily on imported wet flour, creating vulnerability to price volatility and supply disruption. To address this, the researchers utilized locally abundant, underutilized indigenous root crops like taro and lycerium, naturally gluten-free and starch-rich. These crops were evaluated to assess composite flour properties, determine cake sensory and physical quality, and established commercial economic feasibility. This research goes beyond laboratory experimentation. The innovative formulation and processing technology developed through this study are already protected with 3 approved utility models, establishing a verified market-ready foundation for commercialization and technology transfer. To achieve this, raw taro and lycerium tubers were thoroughly washed, peeled, sliced, blanched, dry at 60 degrees Celsius for 5 hours using dehydrator and milled into fine composite flour. Using a complete randomized design, or the CRD, the researcher formulated 3 distinct composite flour ratio. For treatment 1, 25% taro and 75% lycerium. Treatment 2, 50-50. And treatment 3, 75% taro and 25% lycerium. The researchers evaluated physicochemical and functional properties for the flours alongside physical quality, sensory acceptability, and financial matrix for baked cakes. For flour characterization, physicochemical and functional properties, so refer to flour chart. Looking at our flour analysis result for physicochemical stability, all blend maintain safe moisture content of 7.21% to 7.86% and water activity of 0.51 within microbial safety limits for extended shelf life stability. For functional balance, which is the treatment 2, showed the highest swelling capacity of 3.69 ml per gram, essential for crumb softness, while treatment 3 yielded the highest formation or foaming capacity of 11.67%. For treatment 1, achieved superior foam stability or 51.83 ml per gram, confirming a synergistic functional balance when blended. For product quality and sensory acceptability, refers to cake quality data for physical and chemical properties. Cake water activity remained consistent across all treatments at approximately of 0.90 to 0.921, matching commercial wet control of 0.906. Higher taro proportion decreased cake moisture content from 31.68% in treatment 1 to 26.05 in treatment 2. So, instrumental color analysis revealed that lightness and redness closely mirrored conventional wet cakes, while composite cakes exhibited lower yellowness. For consumer sensory evaluation, across appearance, aroma, texture, and taste demonstrated that all composite treatment were rated positively, scoring between slightly, unlikely, moderately. So notably, 50-50 or treatment 2 scored the highest in overall consumer acceptability among composite treatment, proving that a balanced root crops flour blended can successfully replicate desirable cake characteristic without gluten. For economic feasibility and commercial viability, in addition to technical functionality, economic feasibility and intellectual property readiness are paramount to industry adoption. For commercial cake flour created as baseline production cost of 99.91 pesos. Okay, thank you so much, ma'am.
Hello. Thank you very much, Ma'am Janet, and congratulations on your presentation. It's very actually comprehensive. I only have one question because I think everyone here is excited for the lunch. So first, is the product economically feasible for commercial productivity? Kasi yun yung nagiging problema natin minsan. The formula is okay, but is it actually economically feasible for the market?
Yes, ma'am. I already tested, ma'am, since I'm a baker and I have a coffee shop and bake shop also. So I formulated this kind of product so that I can surface or I can answer the needs of those people who need to have gluten-free cakes. No, like me, since I am a diabetic person, so I tried my best to create a product that suit my taste and of course for that to answer the needs of my clientele. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Last na lang po. Was it reflected in your study?
Yes,
The things that you were saying about this is economically feasible, was it reflected in your study po?
Yes po. It was already ma'am. 3 for one study alone.
Okay, thank you so much po, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Hi. For the information of everyone, we still have 4 paper presenters before our lunch now. So the next presenter is Ms. Gretchen Yara L. Arno for the paper entitled Building Financial Resilience, Analyzing the Financial Literacy and Capacity Among Community Households. Okay. For the next presenter, Mr. Jason Loayon, who will present online for the paper entitled Productive Model of the Dropout Intention of Learners in Public High Schools in Valenzuela City. Sir, if you are now online, you may share your screen and start your presentation, please. Hello, Sir Jason. Okay, let's move to the next presentation. We have Mr. Warren Cabangon for the paper entitled Ms. Gretchen Yara L. Erno for the paper entitled Building Financial Resilience, Analyzing the Financial Literacy and Capacity Among Community Households.
Okay, good day everyone. I am Gretchen Yara L. Erno from Northeastern Mindanao State University. Allow me to present my study titled Building Financial Resilience, Analyzing the Financial Literacy and Capacity Among Community Households. Okay, so this study was motivated by the reality that many households, particularly those in rural and low-income communities, continuously face financial pressures brought about by unstable income, unexpected expenses, and limited access to financial resources. So this study therefore asked an important question: how prepared are community households to manage their finances and withstand financial difficulties? So to answer this, the study examined their financial literacy and capacity, and considered how this contribute to building financial resilience. So it explores their financial knowledge, the skills, the attitudes, and the barriers they face in building financial resilience amid increasing economic vulnerabilities. So the study used a mixed method approach. The quantitative data were collected through a structured researcher-made survey of 300 households, and qualitative data were also gathered through in-depth interviews with randomly selected key informants. So the combination of quantitative and qualitative approaches was particularly important because financial resilience is not simply a matter of numbers. So behind every financial statistic is a household making difficult decision, like for example, whether to save or spend, whether to borrow money, how to pay unexpected expenses, and how to manage limited income among competing family needs. So these are the key findings. Households showed a basic awareness of financial principles, but gaps remain in applying them to long-term planning. Financial resilience was moderate and constrained by unstable income, limited access to financial programs, and inadequate digital proficiency. So financial literacy and capacity were found to be significantly correlated, strengthening coping mechanisms against economic shocks. So this highlights an important distinction between knowing and doing. So a person may know that saving is important, for example, but if income is insufficient or unstable, the ability to actually save becomes extremely difficult. So The findings also suggest that building financial resilience requires more than simply providing financial literacy seminars. So financial education is important, but households must also have access to appropriate financial services and opportunities to strengthen their digital financial capabilities. So therefore, financial resilience must be approached both at the individual and structural levels. So based on the findings, we arrived at several important conclusions. First, financial literacy and financial capacity are vital drivers of household financial resilience. Although households possess basic financial awareness, significant gaps and structural barriers continue to limit their ability to withstand and recover from economic shocks. Second, the study found a positive and significant relationship between financial literacy and financial capacity. So this means that strengthening financial knowledge and practical financial skills can potentially improve households' coping mechanism and overall financial well-being. However, we must emphasize that financial education alone is not sufficient. So households continue to experience barriers such as unstable income, limited access to formal financial programs, and inadequate digital proficiency. So these are not simply individual problems. They reflect broader structural conditions that require institution and community level responses. So for this reason, the study recommends the institutionalization of a community-based financial resilience extension program. So such program should integrate three major dimensions: the financial education, access to appropriate financial services, and targeted e-capacity or digital capability building. So financial resilience cannot be built through knowledge alone. It requires a holistic approach that combines education, access, capacity, and empowerment.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Gretchen. Yes, you have mentioned that you need financial resilience extension program and to institutionalize it. But what I was actually waiting for in your presentation is the specific program.
Yes, ma'am. Actually, I am currently proposing in the university where I am teaching an extension program, an extension project. I have proposed it ngayong semester, the Wealth Project, Wellness and Education in Advancing Livelihood through Thrift and Community Financial Management. This is a strategic intervention to address identified gaps. So the project provides a structured and inclusive platform that integrates financial education, practical skills training, digital financial inclusion, and livelihood development. So through this initiative, households can develop effective budgeting system, strengthening saving behaviors, manage debt responsibly, and explore sustainable income generating opportunities. So this project also emphasizes continuous mentoring and community-based support to ensure long-term behavioral change.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
You already have an output of your study. Congratulations.
And finally, before we proceed to our next paper presentation, we have a special moment to celebrate, right? So today is also the birthday of Dr. Jeffrey. So we would like to invite everyone to join us for a simple cake cutting ceremony. Let's gather over there and celebrate with Dr. Jeffrey, and of course, let's sing happy birthday again. And after the cake cutting, may we invite all participants for a group photo, and please proceed to the back of the hall at the registration area for our group photo, and let's make sure everyone is there. After the photo, it's finally lunchtime, and we will have a 1-hour lunch break. Please enjoy your meal, take a little rest, and be back on time for the next paper presenter. Enjoy your lunch, everyone, and see you after 1 hour. Yeah, before the lunch, we will gather at the back of the hall for the photo opportunity first, everyone. And after the photo opportunity is the lunchtime already. Let's go.